Oh my god! Wow! Oh man, this is amazing.
Why can't I sort of,
do the same
follow
thing?
his footsteps?
Yeah.
From that point to about January, it doubled, but people left it because they thought it was just going to go up, like higher.
Yeah.
But little did they know. The day that I choose to enter into, the world of investing, and I had lost about.
Okay, so we've got another guest. This is the OhKay Podcast number 4, and we are welcomed by Sassan. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Sassan Talent. I'm 24 and I've known OhKayInvesting for quite a long while now, so here we are.
Yep. No, it's really good to have you here. So again, the whole point of this podcast is just to get more of a perspective of other people's journey with their money, like finance. So first of all, I'll just say, how is the world of like finance going with you, and has the coronavirus shaken anything? Or
the world of finance for me, I'd say it's been alright, even throughout coronavirus. During coronavirus I was put on a furlough as well, so I was managed to save a lot more money than I would have if I was at work and spending it on expenses.
that's good.
But throughout the whole pandemic sort of era, should we say, money wise, it's been good, I'd say, for me personally. Yeah,
That's good. So something I ask everyone is like, how has your journey with finance like evolved with time, like compared to like when you were a kid? Like one thing I'll say, like guys, I went to school in and that's where I met Sassan, and like honestly I'm so glad like I went. So any lot that's watching this, like shout out to you guys. You guys were amazing. And let's just say Sassan has always been very extravagant. Like he's the one that got me on that like Ciroc vibe, like so I'm just gonna say, like, would you say that the way that you spend then compared to how you spend now, like how's that changed? How's that evolved over time?
I'd say I would spend more now, if I'm honest with you. But it's all controlled.
Okay.
Back in the day, when I was working at Sports Direct, I was only earning £3.50 an hour.
Is that illegal?
At the time, it was legal.
Wow.
So
man,
I saved my money a lot in comparison to all my other like peers around me, because I thought, okay, I've just spent an hour of my life and I've got £3.50 out of it. So, like for example, lunches a meal deal was £3. I'd be like, is this really worth my hour?
An hour
of my life for this meal? So then I'd be like, okay, I need to save more than everyone else around me is saving, just so I can compete with how much they're saving.
That's good. That's a good mentality to have. And yeah, I think that's a very good way to kind of think about it, because at the end of the day, the best asset everyone has is their time. So I think when you start working from a young age, you quickly do get to see like the value of your time and like what that actually means. So no, that's really cool. So where do you work now? Like again, if you don't want to like go over this stuff, like we can cut it out later on. But
that's all right,
like how do you find like work, and can you go into that?
Yeah, so I work at a firm called Red Row Homes. It's a construction company. I studied architecture at uni, so I went through them via my year in industry.
Okay.
And then they offered me a job upon graduation, which I then accepted. And I've been there for a year now, and it's good to see how a company can sort of manage through a pandemic as well.
Yeah.
To see how it survives, if it was pushing its employees to sort of want to work from home or any of those elements as well. Do they care about the actual, employers?
That's really good. Yeah, you just touched on so many things that I want to talk about. So first of all, like again, the channel's all about doing more things as well. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to, I don't know, if you're doing a university course, you want to kind of, sandwich courses are amazing, and like I've also done one, and I think like Sassan can also like test a bit, like he's got a job for it, do a year in industry. Like don't see it as like, okay, this is just a waste of my time, because a lot of the time those companies will hire you, and you have like experience matters a lot more than your qualification a lot of the time. 100%. So, and you also get a taste of like what you want to do. Like I did my year in industry in GSK, and I realized, okay, I don't want to do that job. Sassan was like, oh no, he really liked it, so he'll take it, So like that's really important. And then going further and just kind of expanding more on like the coronavirus and just investing, you touched on, okay, how do certain companies operate during a pandemic? Now, Redrow, in fact, is very interesting. It's a company that I was invested in. I chose to jump out of it because of what I saw, certain fundamentals being changed. Because essentially, it's all to do with housing. So I thought, at the time, it was kind of pre-virus, and at the time, I feel like they were just getting into new developments and everything looked good. But the way I thought about it, I was like, I feel people will be buying less houses at this time because, you know, people can't move around as often as they can. And like people are, because of the economic state, people are going to want to like hold on to their money. So maybe wait out a bit. And I feel like that could drastically affect the operations of the company. And then shortly afterwards, I feel like there was a bit of like a shake up. So like, how did that affect you, or like what was your feeling towards that? Because I feel another thing that I want to add, right. I may chop it up into another bit, but when you go into like work, different workplaces have like different compensation schemes. So like, how was that for you, if you're allowed to even disclose that?
What do you mean by
compensation schemes? So like now, part of your pay will be given in stock, or you're allowed to have like stock options.
Oh, okay. So at the time in my company, I think it's like October, they offer you to buy shares into that company that you work for at a 20% discount.
That's really cool.
The current price at that specific date that they give the invite out to. So I thought I'm good at saving my money, and I can put aside X amount a month and put it into that sort of account. So I thought I'll take them up on that offer, and I did it. And basically from there, it was just a constant putting money aside each month that was untouchable. And they offer you a scheme. You can choose either a 3-year fixed scheme or a 5-year scheme. Okay. So it's basically about how long you want to stay in that company for.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you'd lose out if you was to leave. You'd just get all your money back that you've put into the
okay.
account. So you wouldn't actually lose any money essentially. So I thought, okay, I'll stick to 3 years, because I think my grad scheme's 2 years, and then if I get promoted, I can stay in for an additional year, and at the end, hopefully reap the rewards.
I think I would have done the same thing.
So thus far, I've been putting in X amount for over a year now. The beginning, before coronavirus, the pandemic, the price of the stock that I purchased at was, I'd say, around £4.50.
Okay.
And then from that point to about January, it doubled.
Oh wow!
So it went to £8.50.
Damn. You would have been happy. I would have been like, oh, my money.
And then I was in such a good mood.
Yeah.
I was extremely happy because I thought, if this is what it's like in a couple of months, God knows what it will be like in 3 years from when I actually take it back. So now I was really happy. Everyone around me in the office, it was a good vibe.
Yeah, I'd say. I can imagine.
And then
the Rona.
And then the Rona happened, and it just absolutely plummeted. It went down to about £3.50 from £8.
Damn.
And then everyone's dreams were just shattered.
Damn.
Essentially. But it's starting to make its way back up again.
Yeah.
So you can't lose hope.
That's true.
And it is 3 years from now anyway, which was when I.
So was that your first investments, or was that your first? Why am I forgetting my words now? There's caffeine in me. Was that your first?
Yeah, that was my first sort of push into the
investing,
whole investing sort of market as such. When I was there as an undergraduate at Redrow, I heard everyone in the office was talking about it, and if I'm honest, I had absolutely no idea what the stock exchange was then. You hear about things on like Twitter or on the news, stock market crash, and at the time it was no relevance to me. I paid zero attention to it. But then when I was there as an undergraduate, and everyone was talking about it in the office because it was coming to that time where you could buy it at the discounted rate. I thought, okay, let me just get an insight to it. What is it like? So I asked loads of questions. And then I didn't buy into it because I was going back to university. But then come around when I was offered the job again, I was like, okay, let me look into it a bit more. And I had heard stories at work. There was this guy who, when it was first offered to the company, he purchased the shares at £2.50.
Oh wow!
And he put in £500 a month for 5 years.
Oh damn!
This guy is he's a chief quantity surveyor, so he knows his money.
Yeah.
And then obviously when it went up to £8.50, like I said, he that was his 5 years up.
Oh.
So he took his money out and
lucky guy.
he made a profit of about give or take about £70,000 profit.
That's crazy.
But then obviously you've got to take into consideration capital gains tax and X, Y, and Z. But then I heard that story and I was like, Jesus, I saved that much sort of a month around that 500 plus or whatever.
Yeah, which is really good.
So I thought to myself, if he's just putting that aside each month, and I'm putting aside that much each month, why can't I sort of,
do the same
follow
thing.
his footsteps?
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let me enter into it. And I think from there, it was a sort of a case like, it's just putting money aside, which is already what I do, and I just put it in the bank. So what's the difference?
See, it's crazy how easy it is to just start. So to me, it's baffling why more people don't do that. I guess you've touched on it a tiny bit, but what do you think it was that was stopping you from ever getting into this, before you even started?
In all honesty, I think it's just lack of knowledge. I don't think it was ever actually mentioned to me before. Before I went there. Yeah. During my year in industry.
True.
I never heard about it in school, apart from occasionally where you, like I said, about stock market.
Yeah,
crash,
someone would say something
and
about
you're just like, oh god, okay,
cool, yeah.
And it would just be that's it, in one ear, out the other.
True.
But then when I heard people, when they're driving nice cars and they're talking about it, you're like, all right, hang on a second. What is it? What is it about? And then that's what I sort of picked up from work. And I doubt if I would have picked it up if it wasn't there for work and at the discounted price.
Yeah, to be fair, that's one hell of a bargain. So another thing I'll say, if you are at a workplace that does offer that, I would 100% take it, because essentially in a way it's free money. The same with pension schemes. Whenever you contribute a certain amount, the workplace normally matches it. They're very good ideas to take on. But no, honestly, that sounds fantastic. So it seems like you're really good with budgeting. You have a set amount that you put aside every month. Again, just kind of going into it a bit more, how was the first feeling when you saw the market crash? Because I very much remember how I was and how the whole Instagram space was.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the workplace.
Funny you should say that. So workplace wise, it was a bad time in the work office because it was around the time where you could where the year for everyone would end. It comes around Feb, March sort of time is when you can sort of get your money back from the scheme. And I remember everyone's mood just went down because people you can decide to keep onto your options or at the end just take them straight away. But people left it because they thought it was just going to go up higher.
Yeah.
But little did they know. But apart from work as well, I set up a trading 212 account.
Okay.
And I used I've done they do this thing where you can they give you £50,000 of virtual money.
The paper trading account.
Yeah. So I thought to myself, okay, let me play around a bit, see what the real market is like. So I considered my Red Rose shares as a just a savings account, put money aside. I didn't really think of it as the stock exchange market. So I put in I made that fake account, shall we say, and I always thought, I'm making good money here, virtual money. Yeah. And then I thought to myself, okay, I'll open a real account. So I sat down with my parents and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it, guys. So I put in only a really small amount of £100 into the real market after being given 50,000. You're like, let me just start off really slow.
That's good.
So I put in £100, bought X, Y, and Z companies, and then I bought it the day before the crash. Day before, and I can't tell you. I remember being so happy with myself, telling everyone, I've just invested. And then my brother, he sent me a message, and it just said headline: biggest stock market crash ever. And I had lost about 90% of my £100.
Oh man!
And I was just like, right, well, that's it. I'm actually furious. The day that I choose to enter into, the world of investing, I've just lost basically all my money. So I thought,
man.
I'm just going to leave it. I'm not even going to take out that £10 I had left.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it. And then I left it for 3 months during the whole pandemic.
Yeah.
And then opened the app once.
Oh wow! Damn.
Because I just thought I was
you just wrote it off.
Heartbroken. I just lost a certain amount of money. So I opened the app when I went back into it. People were talking about it again, and I thought, okay, let me just see what's happening. And it had actually gone up because obviously when everything comes down, it's got to go back up again. So I was like, okay, I'll start putting in more and more, and then I just went from there really.
That's really good. Like, honestly, like that, I love hearing people speak into the story because it just shows me how much better you guys were than me, because I would have been checking that thing every day. And I have to commend you, like, in all honesty, like, well done with that. Loads of people would have seen the price crash and be like, oh, I'm going to take my money out. Like, I have so many friends that in some way or another connected to like finance, and they're just telling me all these old people are just like withdrawing all their pension funds, so just the fact that you have that discipline, and I feel like that's also a very good start into the stock market, because at the end of the day, you've already established like a really long line of, okay, I'm going to be investing for a while. Okay, you realize that the stock market can crash. It's a natural thing that happens every now and again, but it will go back up. So you just need to keep disciplined and just average in. I think your probable regret now is that the day after that you didn't just put more in.
Now, because obviously I've invested a lot more than £100. I've come to terms with, okay, I know how it sort of works. If I'd actually paid attention to like the companies, the prices, how they fluctuate during the whole 3 months pandemic, because looking back now, if I'd put in money into the companies that I've put in money now,
exactly,
for a fact that you would probably have doubled your money.
And this is the thing, because a lot of people have reached out to me now, and which I'm really happy about, and just wanted to get into investing, and I can kind of tell like there's always different types of mentalities, and I'll say there's no set way to invest. Like Sassan's gone over, you can do like a workplace scheme, you can open your own accounts, but there's passive investing and there's active investing. So there's like the approach that Sassan took at first, which I'll say is more passive. It's like you just put something amount in and you just kind of forget about it for a while. Like, and that I would say works for the majority of people. That you can also use apps like Acorns, Wealthify. Those are kind of like robo investors that you just put in a certain amount and it will automatically invest it into a set amount of companies based off the choices that you put. But at the end of the day, I feel like there's always a benefit of understanding the companies more, like understanding what you're actually putting your money into. And I just want to kind of say, like now, we've just had Tesla Battery Day, and I know so many Tesla investors that didn't watch it. It's like, this is your money. You should understand where you're, where you're putting your money. Like, so another thing I wanted to talk about was like doing due diligence on the companies that you're investing in. So you clearly now take more of an interest into understanding how the companies are. Like, what's your general process? Like, what do you do?
Well, firstly, I pick companies that I am familiar with, that I've either used or have products in those companies, or work for.
Yeah, that helps.
Because you know a fair amount about stuff. So that's my first approach of actually the company itself, knowing what you're entering in for. Because if I was just put money into a random company that I had zero idea what it is, it's just not. It's not the smartest thing to do, because it could just... It
can go either way, and you don't really know how to feel about that since you don't understand it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Secondly, from there, I then go into looking at their quarterly sort of statistics and figures and stuff like that, to see how they're actually coping, quarterly or year on year. If it's all good, and I know the company as well, then that's,
I think, that sounds really good, and I feel like that is a step above a lot of people, because I feel like now that I think I really need to make a YouTube video about this, like the different levels of investing. Like when you first start, I've said it so many times, my first investment was Coca-Cola, just because who doesn't know Coca-Cola? Literally just did that. you know, and loads of people don't go any further than that. The next couple steps is actually understanding the company, look at their metrics, look at how they perform compared to their competition. You know, there's just so many different levels to it that I feel like if you want to be an intelligent investor, you really should take the time to try to understand your investments. And like one thing that Sassan's doing amazingly well, he's staying within his circle of competence. You know, obviously he's got this compensation scheme that he can do with his company, but he also works there, so he obviously has a better understanding of what the company is doing, so he can make a better judge for himself whether that's a good investment or not. And I just feel like a lot more people need to stick to that, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
So another thing I'll say is like, what's your general goals with money, finance? You know, you want to own a couple of yachts?
Well, one day. Yeah. No, if in all honesty, like, people don't actually realise that the real world is expensive.
Yeah, you can say that again. Yeah.
Like the reason I'm investing, or the reason I'm actually, you know, want to sort of do this as such, is just to sort of have enough safety money there for whatever I need it for. I mean, sure. I don't want to be working all the time and then that money is just spent, you know. Spending it each month, I want to sort of have a backup sort of. I can't really put it into words. Just a backup.
Yeah. It's like a war chest. Just that safety blanket.
A safety blanket. That's the word. Yeah. I want to have that because I think if you just earn money and spend it, you know, you've got nothing to sort of have that sort of safety blanket, as you said. If you need, I don't know, if you need that money for some reason. You know, you've got it, and that's literally the sole reason as to why I'm doing it.
It's true. I think that's a really good reason because, you know, I can't tell you that, especially recently, the amount of times I've been like, oh, yo, that would be really nice, or that would be really nice. But again, those are wants. But if there was like an emergency in the family, or like, you know, like worst comes to worst, something happens, and if you don't have that set amount of finance, and that's just within your own family, it's nice to know that if somebody else needed it that was close to you, you would also be able to help. Yeah. So, you know, that's a really good goal.
That's the exact reason. You know, like you said, if a family member, you know, needs that money in the sense of, I don't know, hospital wise or whatever, you've got that money to be able to help in any sort of. That's just the reason as to why I sort of, you know,
that's really good, man. Like, honestly, keep on doing what you're doing because you'll definitely get there. Like, honestly, I think it's really good.
Thank
and
you.
I'm gonna put this bit earlier on in the video because how rude of me. Okay, so now, Sassan, I think you just need to explain to the wonderful people of YouTube what you do. Like, because now, again, guys, it's not just about doing your standard work, also doing more. Now, when I say Sassan is a modern day Da Vinci, like,
Thank you.
You need to see. Anyway, let the man talk. Explain what you do, and
so this all came about. I'd say even, you know, I've gone on about it a fair amount, but the pandemic, you know. So during the old coronavirus pandemic, whilst I was on furlough, I thought to myself, how can I keep my sanity sort of going? So I thought to myself, I love art, you know. So I thought, let me just paint. You know, how long does it take? You know, I've got all the time in the world to sort of do it. So I thought I'd just buy a canvas, buy some paint, and, you know, get cracking, essentially. So I do now. I wouldn't even call it a side business. It's more of a hobby. I just love doing it.
Yeah, that's good.
So I do paintings now. You know, any commission-based painting that anyone asks me, I will do. So I've done, you know, portraits to anime,
which we'll be seeing in a second.
Sorry,
can I see it just so I can?
This is the packaging.
Okay. I'm about to open it. You guys will get to see my live reaction. Oh my goodness. Well, you guys can't really see me, so I don't show my face, but I am actually super excited for this.
I hope it comes out well.
Okay, so. Oh my god, wow. Oh man, this is amazing. Okay, I'm gonna, like, guys, just look at that. Look at that. Oh, my character's never looked so this man is talented.
Thank you.
Like, Jesus. Oh no, I'm actually
do you like it?
Yeah, that's so cool.
I'm so glad you like it.
That is going. But see, and look, I have to see, look at that watermark.
Yeah, you got to put the signature on there. Could be worth millions.
That is amazing. That is actually so. Oh man.
Do you like it?
No, I generally do. Like, thank you so much.
Oh, I'm glad you do.
That's actually amazing. Okay, so you have to hold it up while you continue speaking about what you do.
So yeah, this is so I've just done this painting for OhKayInvesting. You know, I do as a side hobby, and I think to myself, you know, every money. So the money I get for it, essentially, I look at it as money I never had, and then that goes straight into the investing account, essentially, and then that's just what I do with my time, really.
That's amazing.
So,
like, that's really good. Like, I would say, guys, like, all his details are going to be up here. Like, his commissions are really good. Clearly, the quality is amazing. Like, this is good. This is... I'm putting this up in my room.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, honestly, it's... Oh, man, I'm so happy.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, man. I'll see you guys. Christmas has come early, but... Yeah, like I was saying, it's just the importance of doing more. Like, there's so much you can always do with your time, and like Sassan said, he doesn't even see it as like a side business. I feel that as talented as you are, it will grow. You will get more commissions. I've got a tip for you to get more commissions, actually.
Thank you.
But I'll say, if it's something that you generally enjoy and you earn money from it, you know you're on the right track. But like, honestly, that's amazing work, and the fact that then like just goes more into your investments. That's really good. But yeah, what I'll say, definitely, I think I already told you, like Fiverr
and Etsy.
Etsy.
Yeah.
Are you already on them?
I'm not, but I've actually got shares in those companies.
Oh, very good companies though. Like,
so,
that's good.
Yeah, that's. So I do know about the actual companies themselves, which when Kay sort of suggested it to me, I was like, okay, I know where he's coming from. He knows his stuff as well.
Yeah. And another thing to get more commissions, do you know the YouTuber PewDiePie?
PewDiePie, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, do a painting of him, post it on his subreddit, and if you get featured on his, like, that's millions of views. And like, honestly, like, your painting is definitely really good quality. It'll get featured.
Do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a good idea.
It just needs that one person to
really
exactly
see
it.
But yeah, this makes me so happy because honestly, I feel like I know so many talented people, like so many people that are like really doing stuff. Like another person that came, you know, who would be great to have on the shows, like Luke. Did you see his fight recently?
Yeah, I saw Luke. Yeah, Luke the trainer.
Yeah, oh man, like, you know, there's so many people just doing stuff, and like it's just really nice to see because I feel like, I guess our parents' generation, a lot of them just kind of did the same thing. You know what I mean?
So,
yeah, and I feel like we're the ones who are like, okay, you know, we like doing that thing. We're going to devote like a lot of time towards it and like expand different passions and just get to do more. But yeah, we did, I guess, talking about school. What do you feel like were some of the biggest inspirations to make you like how you are now? And did any of that stem from school, or do you think it's more life experience that taught you that?
Well, school and life experiences. I was, I don't know, I'd say I was unfortunate enough that I actually had to redo a couple of my A-levels. So I essentially had to redo a year at school, which to me was the biggest disappointment to my family.
Same thing happened to me.
That I could have done. And you know, I honestly really think you learn so much when you fail.
100%.
Because, you know, but you shouldn't really look at as like failure as, you know, rock bottom, because it's not. I managed to, at the end of it, get into a university, get it, by the way, ace my A-levels, which I say, you know, second time lucky, get into university, be offered a year in industry, and then for them to sponsor me for my final year at university, so they paid for the whole tuitions fees at the end. And then for me to get a first class honours in architecture. So
congratulations, man. That sounds amazing.
Thank you. So I mean, just that's the sort of, that failing in school has sort of really pushed me to want to just do better and not sort of make my family disappointed.
No, that's definitely a driving factor. But yeah, I think you can learn so much through failure and just getting feedback on certain stuff. So guys, you have to like, subscribe, and leave comments on like what you think. But yeah, I don't know. Cause, like, same thing with me. Like obviously, before I came to which I may probably cut out, I'll bleep out where I actually went to school. But yeah, redoing that year and just taking a step back, it's like okay. 'Cause before then, a lot of the stuff I just kind of succeeded. I think failing A-levels that first time was my first like big failure, and I was like, it really humbled you and like made you realize, okay, you have to now work harder. What are things that you can do better? And like I had an amazing year, to be honest. Like so, I think it was a really good thing, and just to make sure that at the end of the day, the best life experience is just to go through it, but you want to make sure that you're actually consistently learning. So if you did make any failures, you want to make sure that you don't kind of repeat the same thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to like with all your journey now and like with all the stuff you do, how would you try and impart this knowledge onto other people to get them onto the same boat that you have, but a lot earlier?
Well, just make sure you're subscribed first.
Of course.
To the legend himself, because this guy's full of knowledge.
Thank you.
But in all honesty, I think it's just a case of wanting to know more. If you don't want to even know, then fine enough. That's go on your own path. But if you have that little bit of a spark inside of you that you want to learn more, or that you just want to better yourself. I googled different options to see, how to earn money on the side or whatever, and this was like one of the options. Yeah, it sounds so cliche. Yeah, but it's just one of the options.
Oh, what, the painting?
No. Investing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I thought, that's how I sort of initially, as well as my workplace, sort of pushed myself into it. But it's all about just researching, making sure the path that you do go for is the appropriate sort of route.
I think that's a great answer. So, oh man, honestly, like this has been great. Like you've honestly said so many good things, and like you've ticked all my boxes. So, like, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I've got just got a couple. So, what do you think of IPOs in general? When a company goes public, how do you feel about buying a share in that particular company? Would you hold off, or would you go in straight away if you knew that particular company quite well?
Okay, that's a really good question. I would say if it was a so obviously it would have been a private company beforehand. So all company, for anyone that doesn't know, an IPO is an initial public offering. So all companies start off private, and then once they want to raise more capital by issuing shares, they have an initial public offering where they issue shares to the public to allow them to kind of raise more capital. That's all the companies you can invest in are like public companies. So if I knew the company beforehand and did a lot of research, I would want to know why they have switched from being a private company to a public company, and how it was actually going to further their goal, and how they were planning to use the actual capital. Because I feel like, especially last year, there's so many companies that are going public now just because, like, I feel like there's a lot of dumb money in the market. People are jumping onto anything. So I feel like companies are getting the chance to reach a lot higher valuations than they normally would do, which to me is a red flag. It's like, if you can manage your company and if you make enough money, like, why do you need to raise money this way? I get you. So personally, it is a bit of a red flag to me. But if I knew the company well enough and they had a good enough reasoning and they had a detailed plan on how they were going to spend investors' money, then I think I would jump in. But there's been no recent IPOs that I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to jump into this. Like, in fact, there's been a lot more like, oh, I'm going to stay away from this.
Yeah. So how would you feel about Airbnb, obviously, going public?
That is actually one of the ones I was just thinking about, because
that's the one I'm sort of looking at as well.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to come out, see how it works within the first month of it being public.
Yeah.
And then going from there, but I want to know your views on it.
The thing is, especially when I haven't looked into the company's like metrics. Obviously, Airbnb I think is also a disruptor. I want to make sure we have enough time because this is a really good question you've asked. Yeah. Like, I've used that product for years and it's been a lifesaver. Like, I love traveling. I've been to so many different places, and I would say if it wasn't for Airbnb, I would not have been able to do those things.
Oh, same, yeah.
But at the same time, in looking into the company a bit more, it gets into a lot of legal trouble with a lot of different places it goes to. It kind of raises the rent in specific residential areas, and so when they become a public company, I feel like those aspects will be criticized a lot more, and maybe the way that they operate will have to change because they'll be under heavy scrutiny. So, because I feel like Airbnb, when it comes to the law in certain countries, they just kind of feel, because a lot of companies, especially Japan, I think, I'll fact check this afterwards, but I think they're not even allowed Airbnbs, but everyone still does it anyway.
I've heard something like that.
And they're not going to stop doing it. So once they become public, I don't know whether they can still operate in the same way. So I'm really going to heavily watch into that, but I'm a bit cautious. So I would, me personally, I'd have it on my watch list, but I want to see how they'll perform for like at least 2 quarters. Okay. So like half the year, and then make a decision then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was basically it. Just wanted to know your thoughts on, on Airbnbs.
Yeah. Oh man, no, cheers for that. Like honestly, that was great. Like, guys, please, you have to check out Sassan's things. And when I say, guys, when I have a guest, and if you don't check out their stuff, you're just personally disrespecting me. You have to go and check out all of his stuff, his Instagram, everything I post. Get a beautiful painting of whatever you want. His rates are fantastic, and
thank you.
Like honestly, thank you so much for coming on, man.
I appreciate it. No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I think that will be it. And just guys, remember, like, subscribe, and just remember, subscribing to me will pay dividends to your future. I will see you guys later. Bye.